Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Day Football Show. I'm your host, as always, Jackson Kellogg. And today I've got you my playoff predictions for this upcoming weekend, wildcard weekend. We're not going to do the full playoff predictions. I'm going to go week by week. It gets kind of stupid to just predict the whole thing. So we're going to go week by week. And with the wildcard games, they changed the format last year. They now allow 7 teams per conference. The first team gets a bye in each conference. That would be the Titans in the AFC and the Packers in the NFC. And then the 2nd and 7th seeds play, 3rd and 6th seeds play, and 4th and 5th seeds play. So, as a quick refresher as to how the playoffs look, as I said, the Titans are number 1 in the AFC. The Chiefs took number 2. The Bills number 3, Bengals number 4, which means the Raiders number 5, Patriots number 6, and the Steelers number 7. In the NFC, the Packers number 1 seed, and then you have the Buccaneers as the number 2, Cowboys as the number 3, the Rams as number 4, which has the Cardinals at number 5, 49ers at number 6, and Eagles at number 7. Unlike last year, we don't have a team in the playoffs this year with a losing record. Closest is the Eagles at 9-8, so they sneak in. But we're going to go by each game on how they're being played over the weekend. So we're going to start with the Raiders versus the Bengals. Number 4 seed Bengals against the number 5 seed Raiders, playing at 4:30 on Saturday. The Raiders on the road are on a 4-game winning streak, but they haven't been in the playoffs since 2016, where they lost in the wild card round, and the Raiders were hot that year. The problem was Derek Carr went down late in the season with, I believe it was an ACL injury. So he didn't even get to play in the playoffs, and the Raiders got smacked and knocked out in week 1, or the wild card round. But their last playoff win was actually in 2002 when they lost in the Super Bowl to the Bucs. So, whereas the Bengals, they've won 3 out of their last 4. They lost a couple weeks ago, but I believe it was to the 49ers. And the problem with the Bengals in their playoff history is they haven't made it since 2015, where they lost in the wild card round. And their last playoff win actually isn't since 1990, where they lost in the divisional round. So both teams are riding a little bit of hot streaks. The Bengals just beat the Chiefs 2 weeks ago. They're riding that little bit of a high. But lost last week to the Browns. They benched their starters, so they're really on more of a 3-game win streak with their backups losing last week to the Browns. But Burrow, in his last 2 games, has thrown for almost 1,000 yards passing. Raiders are 13th in yards allowed, 19th in rush yards allowed. Joe Mixon has done well. As much as it's a surprise that both these teams even made the playoffs, one team is very clearly the better team, and it's the Bengals, and that's the team I'm going to go with here. The Bengals have surprised everybody this season, but not so. Their play isn't the reason why they're surprised. Everybody's surprised with the way that they're playing, not the fact that they made the playoffs. It's just that nobody thought they were going to play this well. The Raiders, on the other hand, are surprised made the playoffs because of how sketchy their season has been. Head coach leaves part of the way through the season instead of getting fired. It's kind of what it was. You lose your number 1 receiver. He gets cut after being in a manslaughter accident, car crash. Just so much turmoil going on with the team, and the fact that they were able to keep the locker room together just speaks volume as to what the culture is like there in that locker room. And I love Derek Carr so much. If the Patriots didn't get Mac Jones and they were looking for a quarterback already in the league, Derek Carr would have been one of my first choices to go get. But the Raiders, it was a good story, but I don't think they're going to make it past the Bengals here in the wild card round. Moving to the 8 o'clock game, we have the Patriots on the road against the Bills. The Patriots are the only team to not be looking too hot coming into the playoffs. They have lost 3 of their last 4, with their only win being a 50-point beatdown over the Jags. The Bills, on the other hand, are on a 4-game win streak. The Bills, they're trying to get back after last year losing in the AFC Championship. The Pats' last playoff win was in Super Bowl 53. They're both the top 2 passing defenses, both top 5 in yards allowed a game. They're both stellar defenses. The Patriots' rush defense is where their weakness is, but luckily for the Pats, the Bills' offenses, their rush offense is where their problems lie. So that's a decent matchup there. The weather has predictions of about 2 degrees, and that's not including the wind chill that is going to throw it below negatives. It's to the point where I'm watching more Patriots fans buying tickets than the Bills, and I'm hoping that helps out in determining how the stadium plays out. And with these conditions, with the teams how they are, and a little bit of bias, I have the Patriots winning this game. The Bills have been inconsistent over the last couple weeks, and I honestly don't think that they are a mature enough team to beat the Patriots. The Patriots they know what their problems are, they know what the stakes are, and I think they're going to come into Buffalo and get this win as they're, I think, the better team. Going into the Sunday matchups, the first one at 1 o'clock being the Eagles on the road against the Bucs. The Eagles snuck into the playoffs with 4 wins out of their last 5, with their loss to Dallas last week, where they benched their starters and got blown out by like 50 points. But the little sketchy part that isn't really shown is that of their last 4 wins, they were 2 against Washington, the Giants, and the Jets. They had a cakewalk end of the season schedule, which helped them get into the end of the season year. The Buccaneers, on the other hand, have won 7 of their last 8, though there have been some close calls, and their last loss being the shutout by the Saints, where they lost 9-0. The Eagles have the number 1 rushing offense in the league. Not something I expected, but they do. I think it mostly has in part to do with Jalen Hurts. But the Tampa has the number 3 rushing defense. Vita Vea, Shaq Barrett, Devin White, Levante David, JPP, Sue, Golson. They just make up a terror front 7 that can get after the quarterback as well as stop the run. And though the Eagles' rushing offense is there, I don't think they're going to be good enough to be able to keep up. I don't think this game is going to be as much of a blowout as people think it is. I think it'll be a little closer. I don't know what the spread is or the over-under, but I think the Buccaneers take the win here over the Eagles at home. The 4 o'clock game, we have the 49ers on the road against the Cowboys. The 49ers have won 4 of their last 5, with their last loss being the Titans 20-17. We've got the Cowboys, who have won 5 of their last 6, with their last loss being to Arizona a couple weeks ago, losing 25-22. 49ers have held the Rams and the Bengals to some fairly decent score points, 2 of the best offenses in the league. The Rams, they held to 24 points, the Bengals to 23. Cowboys need to rely on the run game if it's going to get them a win. In their loss to the Cardinals, their run offense was terrible, and it's against the Cardinals defense that's 20th in rush yards allowed a game. So there wasn't necessarily a problem in having to run the ball. It was just they chose not to. So they just started chucking the ball, and it didn't work. The 49ers have the 6th best pass defense, 7th best run defense. The Cowboys have the number 2 pass offense and the number 9 run offense. So the Cowboys winning would have to mean that they run the ball. And I don't think they're going to do that against the 49ers here. And I think as long as Jimmy G limits his turnovers, and actually I think they're undefeated when Jimmy G doesn't have any turnovers, I have the 49ers winning this game on the road. I think the Cowboys are a little overrated and have been helped by a little bit easier of a schedule. I don't think they're nearly as bad as they were last year, but I don't think their schedule necessarily tells the whole story. Again, you have to play who's on your schedule, but it's playoffs where the comp actually matters, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to get it done against the 49ers. The 8 o'clock game on Sunday has the Steelers on the road against the Chiefs. The Steelers' defense has been dragging Ben Roethlisberger's corpse over the course of the season, really, but a lot over the last month. The Steelers were going to miss the playoffs if the Raiders and Chargers tied. Well, Raiders kick a field goal in overtime, and the Steelers get snuck into the playoffs as the 7th seed to go and play the Kansas City Chiefs, who have won 9 out of their last 10, with their only loss being to the Bengals, 34-31. And the last time the Chiefs and the Steelers played this season, which was only a couple weeks ago, the Chiefs won 36-10, where at one point in early the third quarter, the broadcast switched to Derek Carr taking a knee for the Raiders. That's just an embarrassment that you were down that much that early, that they just swapped you over. I don't even need to really go into analysis much here. I'm picking the Chiefs to win, and if somehow the Steelers do pull off the upset, good for them. It just goes along with the crazy acrobatics that they've been pulling to get through the season so far, because that offense is downright terrible, one of the worst in the league, and I don't think they're going to do much against the Chiefs on either side of the ball. So I see a blowout coming in here, but I think the Steelers understand that they aren't really supposed to be here, and they're just going to do what they can and have some fun with it. Now, the first Monday night playoff game in years, I don't know if they ever did it actually, but I know I haven't seen one in my lifetime. But the Cardinals will be on the road against the Rams. The Cardinals, like the Patriots, have been pretty slow over the past month. They've only won 1 out of their last 5. And they lost to the Rams recently, a couple weeks ago, 30-23. But their series is split. Cardinals won on the road a few months ago. The Rams, on the other hand, are a little bit more hot. They've won 4 out of their last 5, with their loss coming last week to the 49ers in OT. So they went toe-to-toe with the Niners, come up short. This game, it is definitely the best game on Wildcard Weekend here, and I'm glad that's the Monday night game. But the Cardinals' offense is 10th in passing yards a game, 10th in rush yards a game, and 11th in points scored per game with 26.4. So we'll just call it 26. The Rams' defense is 22nd in pass yards allowed a game, 6th in rush yards allowed, and 15th with 21.9 or 22 points allowed per game. This isn't looking good for the Rams' defense here, as the secondary has been banged up. They signed Eric Weddle because of the injuries they have in the secondary. Eric Weddle hasn't played in 2 years. So the Rams are kind of throwing together a duct tape secondary back there. Their front best that they've been in a while. Still got Donald, but I don't see where the Cardinals are going to have a tough time on offense as long as they don't get in their own way. Running the ball is going to be difficult, but Kyler Murray can scramble out and throw the rock for as much as they want. Now flipping to the other side, you've got the Rams offense that's number 5 in pass yards. Stafford balling out this year. They were 25th in rush yards per game and 8th in points per game, scoring 27. Cardinals defense has been 7th in pass yards allowed a game, 20th in rush yards allowed a game, and 11th in points per game allowed, with 21.5, we'll call it 22. This is where the matchup happens, is the Rams. So the Rams haven't been able to run the ball much, but towards the end of the season, Sony Michel was running it a bit better. But the Rams rushing offense matching up with the Cardinals rushing defense is where the problem is going to come in, and where this game is going to be decided. If the Rams can run the ball against this Cardinals defense that's had a tough time stopping it, especially recently, then I think the Rams could pull it off here. Though, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see the Stafford that couldn't win when it mattered in Detroit has done the same thing here in LA, and I think the Cardinals come into LA and pull off the upset. Last week in SoFi Stadium, the Rams had to switch to a silent count in their own stadium. That's embarrassing. And I think the Cardinals are going to take full advantage of that. I think they're going to go in there and throw air raid all over this Rams defense. The Rams, I feel like, have been a little overhyped recently. I think they have met their match here, with the Cardinals taking a win on the road. Now, if these matchups go the way that I think they do, next week we would see the Patriots on the road against the Titans, Bengals on the road against the Chiefs, the Cardinals on the road against the Bucs, and the Niners on the road against the Packers. So we'll see if that happens and how right I am. Watch me just be wrong with every single pick. Even the Steelers and Eagles ones, those just feel like such easy ones to pick. I'm probably wrong. But no way to find out until after the weekend's over. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Hope you all enjoy Super Wildcard Weekend, as I will. Let's hope the Pats win on Saturday night. Let's go, Pats.